Hey everybody. I don't know if you've noticed, but I've been really stressed out recently, like all this work, and now we have online classes going on and on, and like checking all these writing things on the Google Classroom is like endless, I'm getting emails all day and all night, and like, I don't know if I can do it. So I started thinking, how do I make this better? And you know what I thought? Human clone. Doesn't that sound like a great idea? So I did some late night science lab stuff and I came up with this bad boy, and let's test it out. What do you think? So students, a purely hypothetical question, two actually. If you murdered your clone, let's say, if your clone happened to die and you killed it, would that be murder? Is that illegal? I don't even know. Second of all, do you have any idea where I might be able to get rid of about 11 human bodies? Asking for a friend. All right, back in business here. WAE 194, I'm super tired. Not because I was out in the desert digging holes all last night, but I think I drank too much coffee yesterday and just, who knows. All right. Turns out that we are extending our online classes for a while, aren't we? So I got a couple announcements to go through. But first, a quote. My favorite physicist, Richard Feynman. Do you know about Richard Feynman? You should. He's a very, very interesting man. Anyway, the quote. The first principle is that you must not fool yourself, and you are the easiest person to fool. What does that mean? I'll tell you. We want to believe sometimes so much that we ignore facts, we ignore evidence, right? Sure we do. I'm guilty of this too. Like when I watch my class videos at night, before, I don't do that obviously, it's crazy. But sometimes I look at little clips and I think, wow, Andy, these videos are super nice. They're probably not that good, are they? I don't have that critical eye. But also you need to think about it for yourself where, maybe you're trying to do less work in the class because it's online, or you're doing something else where, you justify it to yourself. Like, it'll be fine, everything will be fine. Will it? All I'm saying is judge yourself with a critical eye, right? You don't want to fool yourself. You don't want to be fooled by yourself. So think about what you're doing. Make sure you're doing the right thing. With these 3 extra weeks of online classes, we have to be very diligent to make sure that we are doing the work, right? Right. I notice making these videos that I do a lot of the same stuff. I hit my ring on the table. I'm stopping that. Right. I'm stopping that starting now, hopefully. Okay, quick administrative stuff. First of all, like I said, online classes until March 31st. At least we need to prepare that maybe it will be longer, right? So we're going to say March 31st, but we need to have a good plan going forward that's going to make this work. So for the next 3 weeks, this is what we are going to do. Next Monday and Tuesday, which will be March 16th and 17th, we're actually going to hold a live class. We're going to use Google Meet, which is meet.google.com. I will share the link on Classroom beforehand. You join the class. We're going to hopefully have a good experience. I've never done it before, so if it's terrible, please bear with me. I'm sorry, I think it will be okay, but I don't know that it will be much better than this, except hopefully we can get maybe a little bit of dialogue, maybe some back and forth going where, I'm not the only person talking. Let's see how it goes. After that, our first draft of our first essay is due March 18th. And what I want to do is I want to go through your essays with you one-on-one so that you can get some direct feedback from me, which this class has been lacking so far due to the setup, And so we are not going to have regular videos or live classes from March 18th to March 24th. We are going to have one-on-one meetings, which we'll do, online. We're going to use Google Meet again. I set up the calendar, and I'll explain to you how it goes. But sign up for a one-on-one meeting. Make sure your essay is finished. We'll talk. We'll get to meet each other a little bit. It should be good, hopefully. But let me explain how the Google Calendar works, because I've had problems with it in the past. First of all, your Stony Brook account is set to New York Stony Brook time zone, which is basically the opposite of here. First, we need to fix that. So we go to calendar.google.com. When we go there, we're logged into our Stony Brook account. There will be a pop-up. And it says, do you want to set your calendar time to Korea time? Click OK. Now we're in the same time zone. Next, you want to go and make your appointment. So go to the web address tiny.cc/handsomeandy. I made up that URL like a year ago, and I thought it was funny, but I use this all the time, and I feel a little bit embarrassed, but I'm too lazy to change it now. But anyway, you go there, and you can see the dates, March 18th to March 24th. There's a bunch of times listed. If you click on the time, it will pop up your 10-minute window. If you're happy with that, you click OK. Bam, you're settled. But then something happens. I don't know. You suddenly realize you're busy during that time. If you need to cancel, what you do is you go to your own calendar. Go back to calendar.google.com. You will see your appointment on the calendar. You click it. It will pop up the appointment. Click the trash can. Delete the appointment. It will release it from the other one. Go back and sign up again. Please cancel your appointment. We have 80 students that need to sign up. That's a lot of students. Don't sign up for more than one, okay? If you need to change, cancel, and then sign up again. Good. After that, starting March 25th, March 26th, and the next class March 30th and March 31st, let's see how the live classes goes, and we'll make a determination. To be honest, I kind of like these videos. I feel like the quality is better, and I'm afraid that the live class won't be as good. And also, what's the point, A, of making you guys wake up and sit in front of your computer at an inconvenient time for you, and B, I'm basically probably going to have to do the same thing 4 times in a row, and I feel like it's not good for any of us. But let's wait and see, okay? Next part. The book and the worksheets that I've uploaded online. It was originally only going to be 4 classes, and I was kind of just going to, you do them, let's move on. But now we're looking at 5 weeks, 10 classes at least, I think, right? And that's too much. So what I'm going to do over the next few days, I'm going to make answers for all of the stuff you've done so far, and I'm going to upload them to Google Classroom. And that way you can check your answers if you want to, or do whatever. The next part, grading. When it was only 2 weeks, I wasn't going to really grade anything during the time. Just, we move in slowly and then start grading later. But 5 weeks is too long. So, the truth is I don't know how it's going to work yet, but we're going to have to do some graded assignments, and I don't know what it looks like exactly. I've been thinking all weekend. It's been stressing me out. I don't know. All right, next. Don't plagiarize. Do not copy and paste stuff off of the internet. I'm not that stupid, and it makes me angry. I don't like it when students do it. Why are you even here if that's what you want to do? Go somewhere else. Don't bother me. You will fail this class. That's it. I don't like failing students. But if you're plagiarizing, what am I supposed to do? It's not going to work out. All right, last but not least, again, if you have any questions, you need anything, Put the comment onto the Google Classroom. If it's a private or personal thing, email me, of course, that's fine. But just general requests and general questions, comment on Classroom. That way anyone can see them. Okay, moving on. I want to talk about simple sentences here in a little bit of detail that I wanted to avoid extended online classes. What are we going to do? We're going to live. Okay. I read all of your reading responses and noticed that some of them you have some sentence structure problems, so I wanted to really talk about the basics here. What is the most simple sentence? I Googled it and they said, I am is the most simple sentence. That's wrong, isn't it? Sure it is, because if we make an imperative sentence, a command, we don't even need a subject, we just need a verb. Go. Does it get shorter than that? I don't think so. Eat. I like that one. I'm hungry right now. It's almost lunchtime. I promised myself I would film this before lunch and get it over with, edit it in the afternoon, and hopefully be done. But sure, we start there, right? Just a verb. Eat, let's say. Eat. It's a command. It's telling you to do something. Good. But then if we do add a subject, let's say we eat. Right? It's still a pretty simple, this is simple enough. This is elementary school, right? But that's okay. We eat. Subject, verb, easy enough. We want to add a direct object. We eat rice. Good. Subject, verb, object. Simple. Now, of course, transitive verbs accept objects, but intransitive verbs don't. So if we stuck with go and we said we go, we can't add a direct object, right? But we could add an adjunct, right? And we could say we go to school. That works fine. For now, we're going to stick with the direct object of eat because it makes a little bit of a difference with adverbs. Now, let me digress here for a moment, okay? Let's go back to let's say, I don't know, the 1940s. Actually, probably even before that. Let's say it's probably started in the 1920s, right? We got these guys in French cafes, you know, the surrealists are out there. Salvador Dali is abusing animals and women and being a terrible person and, you know, all of this culture by abusive white men, let's say. But there's this game, they call it Exquisite Corpse, and there's an art game from the Surrealists where you would draw part of a picture and you pass the paper on, and the next person would draw another part of the picture, and it would go around the room, and at the end you would have a very strange, let's say surreal picture. But there is also the Exquisite Corpse game that works with writing. And in this case, you write one word and you cover it, and you pass it to the next person and they write the next word. The way that we do this is we know what order words come in a sentence, right? So what we want to do is we make a sentence using the Exquisite Corpse game. The, adjective, noun, adverb, verb, the, adjective, noun. I made a sentence by myself. The long dormant monster slowly awakened the other elder gods. We know what that sentence means, right? The subject is there's a long dormant monster. Dormant, of course, means sleeping or something, right? And it slowly awakened the other gods. So what did it do? It woke those gods up, right? Now, one interesting thing here, of course, we can't really move the noun, the verb, or the subject, the verb, and the object around, and the adjectives need to stay where they are, and the determiners, the and the, need to stay where they are. But the adverb, honestly, he's not really a great team player. He could go almost anywhere. We could really put it in the beginning. Slowly, the long dormant monster awakened the other elder gods. That works. The long dormant monster awakened the other elder gods slowly. Works again. Now, with a direct object, we normally cannot put the adverb between the verb and the object. It doesn't fit in there. However, if we have an indirect object or a different type of predicate, we can. For example, if we change it to the long dormant monster slowly awakened to the serene music. In this case, it means the music woke up the monster, right? And now we can put the adverb in between. The long dormant monster awakened slowly to the serene music. It works perfectly. Anyway, I mention all of this stuff because when you are writing your sentences, you want to make sure that the words are in the right place and they're modifying the sentence the way that you want. This seems complicated, but it's really not that complicated. What it requires is care and attention. So what we want to do is we want to go back, we write. I personally like to write quickly and then go back and edit slowly. That's because my ideas come out fast, right? If your ideas are coming slowly, maybe you're more thoughtful, that's okay. You should still edit slowly. All right, we're going to continue this talk about sentence types. We're going to add phrases and we're going to add clauses later. But for now, I believe that's enough. My lunch is waiting. Let's talk about editing very quickly. So I said you want to edit slowly. What do? Are you a good editor? I'm not. Especially a good self-editor. If I read somebody else's work, I'm pretty good. I have a lot of practice. But when I read my own work, I read what I intended to write and not what I actually wrote. I just miss the mistakes. So how do we fix this? We focus on specific things. If we look up here, we have a grammar editing checklist. First, you go through and you look at the verbs, right? Then you look at the nouns. Then you make sure that they agree. You're reading through each sentence multiple times, right? Every verb, you underline it. Every noun, you box it. Make sure it's right. The agreement, right? You put a line between the two. You check the word forms. Do they make sense? Are they right? Is this correct? Should this be an adjective? Should it be an adverb? Should it be something else? Should it be a noun? Good. Then we look at prepositions. Prepositions are super complicated. We're going to talk about them more later. Do your best. I know it's a memorization game and it's hard. All right, and then sentence structure, like the simple sentences we just talked about. Make sure things are in the correct order. That's it. Take your time editing, okay? Go through it slowly. Good. Now, let's go over to Johnny from the Streets so he can explain to us a story by Li Young Lee. Does that sound good? Sounds great to me because I love Li Young Lee and I love this poem, but I never really thought about it that deeply before. And so hopefully our resident expert, Johnny from the Streets over there, can help us out. What do you say, Johnny? Oh, yeah, man. I do love Li Young Lee, and especially this poem, A Story. One of the most important things to look at here are the first word and the last word of the poem. Sad. Silence. That really sets the tone, man, for the whole thing, It's a sad poem. And in the end, what's left? Silence. Kind of universal that way, man, Entropy, the heat death of the universe, man. What's going to be left of all of this? Nothing. Silence. That's what. But about the poem, man. Li Young Lee is grappling with the idea of fatherhood, He wants to be a good dad. And we got this third person, right? The narrator, who's watching this scene. But there's really 3 points of view here, man. There's the narrator, there's the father, there's the son. And again, this is universal. It's talking about the relationships between a father and a son. They love each other, right? Of course. Fathers love their sons. Sons love their fathers. Everybody knows that. But they're sitting there, and the son says, Tell me a new story, Dad. And the dad says, blank, nothing, no story coming. And the son says, now, Dad, give me the story now. And the dad realizes that he's letting his son down, and he imagines the future. All he wants to do is spend time with his son, but his son's busy. Gotta go, Dad, I'm busy. And you know, at this moment, he's remembering his relationship with his father, because he did the same thing. Sorry, Dad, gotta go. And now he sees the future. His son, too. Sorry, Pops, old man, I gotta go. And it's depressing, right? We can see the universality of it all. And then in addition, we know that the father sees this as one of the first disappointments of his son. Remember, little kids idolize their fathers. They're perfect. They're Superman, man. But here, there's a little dent in the armor, isn't there? He's not so perfect. And as the child grows up and gets older and older, man, he notices the imperfections more and more. Wait, my dad's not that strong. He doesn't know everything. What's going on here? And you realize what you thought was true was not true. And then, in another situation, we also can see the weird relationships between men in society. Men can't be vulnerable. Men can't talk to each other about their problems. It's weird. Do you talk to your dad about your problems? Of course not. It's weird. You talk to your dad about sports? What's going on, Dad? Not much, man. Yeah, me neither. Cool. Cool. And that's it. The heart knows that it wants more, man. It's hurting. But what's left? Silence, man. And that's why this poem is beautiful. The father knows he's going to let down the son, and the father dreams of a better relationship. But in this one moment, he knows what's going to happen. Society will not allow them to have that relationship, man. Sad. Wow, that's great. Johnny from the Streets, everybody. He knows his stuff, doesn't he? We need to be careful of this guy. He might try and steal my job in the future. I don't know. Okay, just a couple more things here very quickly. We need to go through the academic word list. It's a vocabulary list. I was going to wait for class time, but who knows? So we need to go through it now. The academic word list is already uploaded onto Google Classroom. It's on February 18th. I think it's the first file in the stream. So scroll all the way down. There it is. What the academic word list is a researcher from New Zealand went through and he took this huge amount of academic texts and studied them, and he found the most common words used in academic English. And that's what this list is. He then breaks it down into 10 sublists, and each sublist breaks down the most common to the least common words. So sublist 1 is the most common group, and sublist 10 is the least common. We're going to start with sublist 1, which is easy enough, right? They're the most common words. You know most of them. We're going to have a quick online quiz like the other ones. All you need to do is you read the sentence and you select the correct word form. I will provide the word, you choose the correct word form. It's a lot of words, but I believe in you. You can do it. Okay. Your first essay, again and again. Again and again. Is that a Big Bang song? I don't even remember anymore. Getting old. Okay, we got, I think, a week or less now until the first essay draft is due. And you know the topic, you know the length, you got the general idea of the APA formatting. It needs to use in-text citations and a comprehensive reference page. Look this stuff up on the Purdue OWL. I'm going to talk about it right here in a second, at least the reference page itself. but this is stuff that you also need to do. Remember, as a university student, you need to be an independent learner. We can't cover everything in class. For 80 minutes twice a week, you are not going to become an excellent writer. You need to take charge of your own stuff. You need to work on your own. You need to do your best. Good. Let's look at these APA references very quickly. Here is an example reference page. If we look, we can see that APA formatting uses the name, date, title formation. So in the first one, Crawford C is the name. Crawford is the family name. C, first initial. 2011 is the date. Anolis carolinensis is the title of the article. And it came off of animaldiversity.org. Good. If we look at the second one, we got a bunch of names, right? Fleischmann, Oga, Steinberg, and Leal. Functional ecology. This is from a YouTube video. So functional ecology is the channel name. Now listen. If you are going to cite a YouTube channel, it better be a legit official YouTube channel. I don't want it to be some just dude, okay? It's got to be related to something official. Because anybody can make a YouTube channel, right? Be careful. The next one, name, initials again, date, performance and signaling in the green anole lizard. It's a doctoral dissertation, where they got it from. And then the final one comes from an academic journal. We're probably not going to use many academic journals, but it's okay to look at. Again, name, date, title, and then the journal title, the volume, and what pages it is, and where they got it from. That's what they should look like. If you go to the Purdue OWL, they have the citation machine. What's important about this is you're going to know if your reference is good or not good based on what the citation looks like. If you don't have a name, if you don't have a date, not a good reference, right? It needs to be professional. It needs to be official. Find stuff that people take credit for writing and put a date on. That's it. Even still, it might not be great, so don't use that as your only criteria. Make sure you're getting good references. Finally, homework. Yes, all right, one more reading, okay? I know I'm burying you with readings, but I feel like we're missing out on a lot of class stuff, so I'm hoping that the reading and the responses help you out in another way. Let's hope. This one is, I'm your teacher, not your internet service provider. I thought it was kind of apropos, let's say, of our situation right now. I know none of you really come to me with real technical problems, but this is an essay that talks about difficulties with online distance learning, which, we're kind of going through right now. So I thought it was good. There's a question on Classroom, as usual. Write a decent paragraph answer, of course. Comment 2 times on other people's with thoughtful comments. Next, academic word list quiz, sublist 1. The file is on Google Classroom already. It's a word form quiz. You go in, you choose the correct word form. This would be a good time to think about the simple sentences that we talked about a few minutes ago, wouldn't it? So you know, probably just based on where the word is in the sentence, what the word should be, or what the word form should be. Good. There's another question that asks for 3 references for you to put online. Use the APA formatting that we just discussed. Name, date, title, whatever, right? Use citation machine to get it. Make it look like a reference page. Put it on there because I want to look at your references and tell you good and not good. We can talk about them, okay? Cool. Another reading response journal. Keep up with your journals. April 8th, I want 15 journals written. I have 80 students. I am not checking the dates to make sure it's 3 every week. I'm going to count and make sure there are 15 total. It's up to you to take care of it yourself. All right, one more thing from Great Essays, page 139 to 143. It's some editing practice. We talked about editing a little bit today and a little bit before. Look at it, think about it, see what you want to do. We'll talk about it in the future. All right, that's it for now. Have a great day. Have a good weekend, everybody.